Paper products don't do you any good if they get wet, or worse, if they become home to critters. I'm Carolyn Sherlock, and on this episode of the Boat Galley Podcast, I'll share my tips for storing paper goods on your cruising boat. First, though, today's episode of the Boat Galley Podcast is sponsored by Marine Electronics Advisor, a service from CTEC Systems. Get unlimited expert advice as you upgrade and maintain your boat's electronics and communication systems. Got questions about how to install your new AIS? Want to know if that on-sale radar will talk to your chart plotter? How to configure your new Wi-Fi extender? Embarking on a full electronics refit? The Marine Electronics Advisor has you covered. Use code BOATGALLEY for an exclusive $100 off your first month subscription. Visit ctecsystems.com/DIY, the link's in the show notes, to learn more. Marine Electronics Advisor, the ultimate subscription consulting service for the DIY boat owner. Okay, let's talk about storing paper products. Paper products seem like some of the easiest things to store on a boat. They don't break and they don't go bad. Or do they? Well, if they get wet, they're of no use. And if they harbor bugs, you're not going to be too happy either. So maybe just pitching them into any available locker, that's what I did initially, isn't really the answer. So what is? Well, first, you have to get the items to the boat in a good shape. If you're just going from the car down a dock to the boat, it's not such a big deal. But if you're anchored out, dry bags are essential for transporting anything that would be harmed by water. Toilet paper, paper towels, napkins, feminine hygiene supplies, as well as foods like sugar and flour. I've put a link there learning more about dry bags. It's in the show notes. And we've talked about it on a different podcast. Once aboard now, the basic rule for storing paper supplies is not to put them all in one locker. If that locker develops a leak, your entire stock could be wiped out. It's never fun to discover you have a leak, but it's that much worse when you discover that your entire stock of toilet paper or feminine hygiene supplies has been ruined. If possible, it's good to store at least part of your supply in a solid plastic bin with a lid. That way, should you get water in the locker, it's far less likely to actually get the paper wet. And in addition to splitting things between lockers and putting part of the supply in bins, I always keep an emergency stash of various paper products sufficient for a week in either vacuum bags or double plastic bags. Okay, I'll admit it, I'm overprotective. Now, as I've researched various questions on avoiding cockroaches and other bugs, there seems to be controversy as to whether cardboard and paper actually harbor bugs or not. I err on the side of caution and put an ant trap and cockroach trap in every locker with paper supplies in it. We've got links to those too. Now, if you must use a liquid or spray bug deterrent around, be sure not to get any on the paper supplies themselves. Spray it, let it dry, then put the paper back into where it goes. And one final note, paper supplies can take up a lot of space on a boat. You can use a lot fewer paper towels if you use cloth bar rags and tear the paper towels you do use in half. And compare the number of sheets on a roll of toilet paper to find the ones with the most. You'll find that some have amazingly few sheets. That's it for this episode of the Boat Galley Podcast. I hope you found it helpful and informative. If so, be sure to sign up, subscribe in your favorite podcast app, and please tell your friends about us. Thanks.